When 424 feet below sea level, that is not the depth of an ocean, but the elevation of the land beneath your feet. At the lowest point on the surface of the Earth, cliffs rising hundreds of meters conceal an entire city carved directly into the mountains. Nearly 90% of the land is desert. Yet those same arid conditions once sustained trade routes that connected 3 continents and many of history's greatest civilizations. Why do such seemingly opposite realities exist together in the same place? Jordan has repeatedly become a destination for archaeological expeditions and the setting for many famous films, from Lawrence of Arabia to science fiction movies. The landscape here requires almost no additional set design to become another world on screen. But before humans left their mark, nature had already spent millions of years shaping this landscape. Where are you watching this journey from? Leave your country or city below. The drier the land becomes, the harder it is for traces of humanity to disappear in a place that seems to contain nothing but rock and wind. More than 12,000 years of human presence still remain etched across the cliffs. Wadi Rum is where that pattern is revealed most clearly. Millions of years ago, geological activity and weathering transformed sandstone and granite into vast canyons, towering cliffs, and wide valleys. The almost rainless climate protected ancient carvings from erosion caused by water and vegetation. In 2011, UNESCO inscribed Wadi Rum as a World Heritage Site under both the natural and cultural categories because it preserves millions of years of geological history alongside evidence of human civilization spanning many millennia. Against this natural backdrop, the Bedouin community has maintained a way of life adapted to the desert through generations, allowing their culture to endure in this harsh environment. Yet the most astonishing evidence is still found upon the cliffs. For countless generations, caravans continued to travel along the route crossing Wadi Rum. During the Arab Revolt of 1917 to 1918, Thomas Edward Lawrence also crossed this very desert. His name remains at Lawrence Spring, where fresh water seeping from the rocks has sustained life in this arid land for centuries. The strongest evidence, however, lies inside Khazali Canyon. Human figures, camels, animals, and ancient inscriptions remain preserved on the rock walls as though thousands of years of history had never left this place. In one of the driest regions of Jordan, an entire open-air library of history still survives. Time has not only preserved the footprints of humanity, but has also shaped this landscape itself. Hot desert winds and the constant temperature changes between day and night weathered the sandstone over millions of years, eventually forming Fruth Rock Bridge as a slender ribbon of rock suspended across open space. On the other side, Petra Rock Bridge rises like a gigantic stone arch after millions of years of weathering. Nearby, 7 pillars of wisdom stands with its layered rock formations that inspired Thomas Edward Lawrence's famous memoir. In Wadi Rum, time has carved both the geological history of the Earth into stone and the journey of humanity across tens of thousands of years. But if nature required millions of years to create this wonder, could humans create a masterpiece enduring enough to stand the test of time within the heart of the mountains? Capital that once controlled the trade routes of an entire region emerged in a place that seemed to lack enough water to support even a permanent settlement. What appeared to be the greatest natural obstacle instead became the very foundation for the rise of Petra. Every caravan entering the capital had to pass through the same entrance. Thick is a geological fissure about 1.2 kilometers long, formed by tectonic movements, with cliffs rising more than 120 meters high. That narrow passage allowed the Nabateans to control both people and goods before they reached the heart of the kingdom, while also turning Petra into a natural fortress that was extremely difficult to attack. But the terrain provided only security. To sustain a city in the middle of the desert, they had to solve a far greater challenge. Along the Sikh are the remains of water channels, pipelines, and reservoirs carved directly into the rock. Every rare rainfall flowing down the surrounding mountains was collected, stored, and distributed throughout the city. That system enabled Petra to maintain a reliable water supply for tens of thousands of residents while serving as a major trading hub for caravans transporting spices, frankincense, and aromatics between the Arabian Peninsula and the Mediterranean. Only at the end of the Sikh does the true scale of this capital gradually reveal itself. Al-Khazna, or the treasury, was carved into a sandstone cliff about 40 meters high. The monument takes its name from the legend that the stone urn above its facade concealed the treasure of ancient kings, leading many people to fire bullets at it in search of gold. Later archaeological research suggested that it was most likely the tomb of a Nabatean king, yet Al-Khazna has also led many people to misunderstand Petra. Its monumental facade has made it the image most commonly associated with the entire city. The scale of Petra extends far beyond Al-Khazna, Ad-Dair, whose facade is even larger than the treasury, shows that the city continued deep into the surrounding mountains. Places such as High Place of Sacrifice reflect the religious life of the Nabateans, while the royal tombs and Silk Tomb preserve the legacy of the ruling elite, the Great Temple, and the Roman Theater, complete the picture of a center of power with spaces dedicated to administration, ceremonies, and public life. Only then does the complete image of Petra come into view. Al-Khazna is merely the most famous facade of a capital carved directly into the mountains. Streets, plazas, temples, and tombs all exist within the same mass of sandstone, transforming an entire mountain range into a place where people lived, traded, and governed a kingdom. Because of this, Petra was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985 and was chosen as one of the new 7 Wonders of the World in 2007. Yet Jordan preserves another remarkable phenomenon, where water itself follows rules almost completely opposite to those of nearly every other body of water on Earth. Few people realize that this body of water is unlike an ordinary inland sea. Its surface stretches as far as the horizon, and people can hardly sink beneath it. Yet its name does not accurately reflect its true nature. The Dead Sea is not a sea, but a landlocked salt lake located at the lowest point on the Earth's continental surface, about 430 meters below sea level. Why then is a lake called a sea? The answer lies in the enormous amount of salt it has accumulated over millions of years. This entire basin lies within the Jordan Rift Valley. The Jordan River continuously feeds water into it, but there is no outlet under the hot, arid climate. The water evaporates while salt and minerals accumulate over millions of years, raising the salinity to nearly 34%. Almost 10 times higher than that of the ocean. That is also why almost no fish can survive here. The density of the water is so high that the human body naturally floats on the surface without the need to swim, layers of mineral-rich mud containing magnesium, calcium, and potassium formed through this same process have also become famous around the world. But the Dead Sea has never remained unchanged. Its water level is falling by nearly 1 meter every year as the shoreline retreats. Underground salt layers dissolve, creating thousands of sinkholes along the coast, behind the almost motionless surface. This landscape continues to change every single day. That same geological system also opens the door to an entirely different world east of the Dead Sea. Over millions of years, the Mujib River, carved deeply through layers of rock, creating a canyon that water continues to shape even today. These geological and ecological values led the Mujib Biosphere Reserve to become the first biosphere reserve in Jordan recognized by UNESCO. Siku Trail leads visitors directly into the narrow gorge, where they wade through flowing water and climb over small waterfalls formed by erosion. Canyoning here becomes a direct way to experience a canyon that nature is still shaping. At first glance, those dry cliffs seem to leave no room for life. The Nubian ibex survives thanks to its specialized hooves, which allow it to cling to narrow rock ledges in search of the limited food available. Every journey for food is dangerous, yet its greatest threat comes from shrinking habitat and hunting. As a result, the species is currently classified by the IUCN as near threatened. For millions of years, the movement of the Earth has determined where water flows, where salt accumulates, and even where life can exist. In some places, the heat beneath the Earth's surface has influenced where people chose to settle for thousands of years. Amid the arid landscape east of the Dead Sea, rainwater from the highlands seeps through layers of rock before descending into geothermal zones deep underground. After being heated, the water rises back to the surface under immense pressure, carrying both heat and minerals accumulated over time. That process gave rise to Mayan hot springs. The temperature of the springs ranges from about 40 degrees to more than 60 degrees. Warm enough for steam to blanket the surrounding cliffs throughout the year. These hot waterfalls are not created by volcanoes or eruptive activity, but are the result of the unique geological structure along the Jordan Rift Valley. Since ancient times, people have come here to soak in the natural mineral pools, long before modern resorts existed. But those springs are only part of the reason people have remained connected to this land. More than 7,000 years ago, the first communities began settling where Amman would later develop. Remarkably, the site has almost never been abandoned. Generation after generation, people continued choosing to live in the very same location. Over time, the Greek city gave way to the Romans, then the Byzantines, and later the Islamic dynasties. Each era inherited what came before it, while adding another layer to the city's history. The place that preserves this entire process most clearly is Amman Citadel, the highest hill overlooking the city. Once the center of power for multiple empires, this site controlled the routes connecting the desert with the Mediterranean region, and for that reason, it was repeatedly chosen as the location for fortifications and royal palaces throughout history. The Roman legacy is most clearly represented by the Temple of Hercules, built during the 2nd century under Emperor Marcus Aurelius, when it still stood intact. It was one of the largest temples in the Decapolis League. Today, almost the entire temple has disappeared. Only a few stone columns and the gigantic stone hand of the Hercules statue remain on the ground. These fragments provide the clearest evidence of the enormous scale of the temple that once dominated the summit of the citadel. On the very same hill, another era continues to leave its mark. Umayyad Palace demonstrates that the early Islamic period did not erase what had existed before, but instead inherited many architectural elements from the Roman and Byzantine periods. Byzantine Church reflects the time when Christianity flourished throughout the region. The Roman influence also extends beyond the citadel. Roman theater still functions according to the acoustic principles calculated by Roman engineers nearly 2,000 years ago. With a capacity of about 6,000 people, a voice spoken from the center of the stage can still reach the highest rows with almost no amplification. King Abdullah III Mosque represents the newest architectural layer in the development of Amman within the modern city. The remains of ancient civilizations stand beside contemporary buildings, reflecting the continuous process of cultural inheritance that has shaped this urban center for more than 7 millennia. Some species were once believed to have disappeared from the wild forever. By every prediction, they would never return. Yet years later, their footprints were found once again across this desert. In such an arid environment, every species plays an essential role. When herbivores disappear, the balance of the ecosystem nearly collapses with them. Shaumari was established with a rare mission to restore those lost connections. The process began with the Arabian oryx, or oryx. By the middle of the 20th century, this animal, once widespread across the Arabian Peninsula, had become extinct in the wild because of excessive hunting from a small captive breeding population. Jordan became one of the first countries to successfully reintroduce the oryx into its natural habitat. After decades, the Arabian oryx once again roamed the deserts of Jordan. That achievement marked the beginning of the recovery of the entire ecosystem. The effort did not stop with the oryx. The red-necked ostrich and the Persian onager were also gradually reintroduced after disappearing from the region for many years. Alongside the species that returned, the desert still shelters animals that never disappeared, hidden throughout the day. The Arabian sand cat begins hunting only after temperatures fall. The thick fur covering the soles of its feet allows it to move across the sand while leaving almost no tracks. Those same conditions made Azraq a stopping point for people for many centuries. In the middle of a barren basalt desert, a single water source was enough to change the course of entire caravans crossing the wilderness. Qasr al-Azraq was built entirely from locally quarried basalt stone. From this fortress, the routes passing through this strategic oasis could be controlled. Its massive basalt doors, each weighing several tons, can still be opened by hand. The secret lies in the hinge and pivot system originally developed by Roman engineers and later refined by the Byzantines. It remains one of the clearest examples of ancient engineering still standing in the Jordanian desert. Many centuries later, Thomas Edward Lawrence also chose Qasr al-Azraq as his winter headquarters during the Arab Revolt of 1917-1918 because of the fortress's strategic location. The desert never changes to suit any species. Every living creature, including humans, must learn to adapt to its rules. In the Jordanian desert stands an early Islamic monument whose walls are covered with images of people, foreign kings, and a sky filled with constellations. Qusayr Amra was built during the Umayyad dynasty in the early 8th century. Although relatively small in scale, it preserves one of the most important collections of early Islamic wall paintings still in existence. The monument was created during a period when Islamic art had not yet developed strict conventions regarding the depiction of human figures. Its most remarkable artwork is the Six Kings mural. 6 rulers from different empires are portrayed on the same wall, providing rare evidence of how the Umayyad dynasty viewed its position in the contemporary world. In the neighboring chambers, scenes of hunting, music, and royal banquets record court life in the middle of the arid desert. Yet those paintings are only the beginning. After more than 1,000 years, the greatest secret of Qusayr Amra still lies overhead, a ceiling depicting the sky with its constellations and zodiac signs, one of the oldest astronomical maps preserved in Islamic art. If Qusayr Amra reflects how one civilization recorded its ideas, art, and knowledge, then Jerash preserves something even greater: the way an entire city was built and operated. Buried beneath earth and sand for centuries, Jerash was gradually excavated and became one of the best preserved Roman cities outside the Italian peninsula. Even more remarkable, almost its entire network of streets, plazas, and public spaces still survives. Hadrian Arch marks the entrance built to welcome Emperor Hadrian in 129. Beyond the gateway stands Oval Plaza, a rare oval-shaped square that connected the city's main streets. From there, Cardo Maximus stretches through the city like its backbone. The original paving stones still bear the marks left by chariot wheels, revealing the constant commercial activity that once filled this avenue. Hippodrome once hosted chariot races and military parades at the city's highest point. The Temple of Artemis stands out with its Corinthian columns, designed with enough flexibility to absorb seismic vibrations without collapsing easily. Jerash also contains 2 theaters, each serving a different purpose. South Theater was built for performances before an audience of about 5,000 people and still retains nearly perfect acoustics, while North Theater hosted civic and administrative gatherings. Within the same land, Jordan preserves both the paintings that tell the story of the earliest period of Islamic art and a Roman city whose urban structure remains almost entirely intact. 2 civilizations separated by many centuries continue to exist side by side, like layers of history that have never been erased. Known as the City of Mosaics in the Middle East, Madaba preserves one of the most important Byzantine legacies ever discovered. Millions of tiny stone pieces still come together to depict the memory of the Holy Land after more than 1,000 years. The clearest example lies beneath the floor of St. George's Church, completed in the 6th century. The Madaba mosaic map is the oldest surviving map of Palestine and the Holy Land. Jerusalem, the Jordan River, the Dead Sea, and many ancient cities of the Levant are all represented with remarkable accuracy. That precision has made the map an invaluable resource for archaeology. Many places that once survived only in ancient written records have been identified again through these mosaic stones that have endured for more than 1,000 years. The pilgrimage route from Madaba continues to the Memorial Church of Moses, built upon the foundations of a Byzantine church dating back to the 4th century. The mosaics here reveal that Byzantine art went beyond recording the geography of the Holy Land. It also preserved faith at the very place where pilgrims came for centuries. Those stones mark the beginning of a journey toward the place where faith has been preserved. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all regard Mount Nebo as a sacred place. According to biblical tradition, this is where the prophet Moses saw the promised land before his death, although no historical evidence confirms the event. This belief has been preserved for centuries, making Mount Nebo a pilgrimage destination for millions of believers across many generations. From the summit of Mount Nebo, the view stretches across the Jordan Valley, the Dead Sea, and on clear days even reaches Jerusalem in the distance. Standing prominently at the summit is the Serpent Cross, a bronze sculpture combining the image of the serpent from the Bible with the Christian cross. Created by an Italian artist, it has become the symbol of Mount Nebo, representing healing, sacrifice, and the spiritual journey that has continued through countless generations. One place preserves memory through millions of mosaic stones, while the other preserves memory through faith that has endured for thousands of years. Together, they show that time is preserved not only in monuments, but also in the way people continue to safeguard what they believe. At the southernmost edge of the country, a coastline only a few dozen kilometers long provides Jordan's only access to the Red Sea. This location has made Aqaba Jordan's maritime gateway, connecting the arid interior with one of the region's most important sea routes. Just offshore from Aqaba are coral reefs that have remained healthy for many years. Clear, warm seawater and stable salinity have allowed this ecosystem to flourish at the northern tip of the Red Sea. Hundreds of species of fish and marine life coexist in these waters, making Aqaba one of Jordan's richest areas of marine biodiversity. From the shoreline, the view extends toward Egypt, Israel, and Saudi Arabia. 4 countries meet around the Gulf, while beneath the surface, the marine ecosystem continues to thrive beyond every national border. But the waters of Aqaba hold another surprise. Jordan deliberately sank tanks, armored vehicles, helicopters, and even a C-130 transport aircraft to the floor of the Red Sea. These military vehicles were not submerged because of war or accidents, but as part of the Underwater Military Museum project. Over time, coral gradually covered the metal surfaces, while machines once built for military purposes became shelters for fish and countless marine species. Jordan's journey ends beside the Red Sea, where nature does not erase the traces left by humanity but continues writing upon them through another form of life. On the world map, Jordan occupies only a very small area. Yet this land preserves the traces of geological forces that have unfolded over millions of years and the continuous presence of many civilizations throughout history. Its canyons, deserts, and valleys still retain the forms shaped by nature long before humans appeared. Upon that geological foundation, cities, temples, fortresses, and trade routes gradually emerged, with each era leaving behind its own distinct layer of history. Perhaps that is what truly defines Jordan. Here, history does not exist apart from nature. Every layer of rock preserves the story of the earth, while every human monument continues the journey of this land from one generation to the next.